Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So a couple of weeks back I posted on the Nokia 108 4G which was introduced rather quietly. It was actually went straight on sale on the online platform, so that's how I got to know about the Nokia 108 4G. I shared that on my Twitter account before, and I think a couple of days later I noticed that there's another new device, which is the Nokia 125 4G, also somehow made it to the market quietly, so I decided to purchase one. Now what I can deduce is the design looks the same, except that the 125 4G has a camera over the back. So this is a VGA camera over the back. Now at this point of time, it's quite confusing between the naming convention and the numbering that has been used between Nokia branding and HMD branding. So this might be out in some different market with some HMD branding, perhaps, maybe. At this point of time, it's not really sure how they grade the devices, so I'm not going to be talking on that because it is something that I have not figured out yet. So this is the Nokia 125 4G. It's the improved version of the 108. Now the price difference between the 108 model and the 125 4G model is roughly about $2.50, and for that difference you do get a camera with flash on the back. So that's up to you, which one would you prefer. Now you can see the design itself. It comes in two colors, the black and the blue, but it's not really blue. I'll show you that in a while. Now, as this is meant for the Chinese market, most of the things are written in Chinese over the back. A couple of things we can make out is that it has a 2.4 inch 1450 mAh battery. We do have a camera. This is a 4G device running on the S30 Plus platform. 64 megabytes of RAM with 128 megabytes of storage. It accepts a 32 GB of card, but if you've seen my previous videos, I've shown that even 64 GB works well. Now, one thing which is unique and I think makes the device relevant is the inclusion of a USB Type-C charging capability, which is more than needed. We do have an FM, an MP3 player with a 3.5mm head jack, and this has an IP52 rating. Now, I think nothing much else is written here, but just to tell you that this is a dual SIM device. And I read in the website that the Nokia 125 has this nano texturing applied, so it has a better durability, and at the same time it does feel good in the hand. So this is going to be a simple unboxing of the Nokia 125 4G. Pretty much it's the same as the Nokia 108. Like I said, for a price difference of $2.50, you do get a camera for the 125 4G 2024 model. So simple packaging. You do have the booklets on that. You've got the user guide, and they have included a USB type A to USB type C. So this is a pretty much standard USB cable, and of course the battery is there. Now the battery is a 1450 mAh battery, and if you've been seeing the reviews of the feature phones that I've been making, I think this is somewhat of a standard approach by HMD Global. So I'm just going to put this aside so that we can focus on the device itself. So like I said, a standard approach by HMD Global. I think this is probably the one that is deciding on all this device located in Asia, so that they do get some Asian specific device. Now you might be thinking, do you need one? I think if you have one that is running on a micro USB, you might want to get, because this is type C, then you don't really have to be getting additional cables with you. So one cable for all your devices, and these are pretty similar devices like the ones we've seen on the Nokia 110. Even that has somewhat about a similar layout, similar to this. Of course, this has a USB type C. So you can see that the color is something that changes with the light. So the way the light shines, the way it reflects, it can look anywhere from a purple to a blue kind of appearance. So it's a graded color on the Nokia 125 4G. Now this has a dual tone, so you got the central part of the body which is black and flanked by this purplish bluish plastic panel on the front, and you do have a very well spaced raised keypad. So this is something that you're going to find really nice to type on. Now the 3.5mm head jack is located at the bottom, just next to the USB type C. Personal preference would be to have it on the top, but that's just my view on that. Now again, we are seeing something new here. So what you're seeing here is the camera with the flash. It has this kind of silver lining on both of these. As for aesthetic purpose, perhaps not really of any function. We have the Nokia branding here, and I think this is something new, model 125 4G. So this is how it looks for the current generation of feature phones by HMD Global. So we do have the HMD logo down below, and if you can make it, makers of Nokia phones. So this is how it is now. Definitely looks beautiful because of the color grading itself. And if you're a fan of candy bar feature phones, this is as simple as it gets. Now let's just pop in the battery and let's take a look. So this is where the slot is for you to pry open. So you put your fingernail in and remove it. Now if you see my previous videos, you could have probably noticed that in some devices I do tend to struggle more, but I noticed with the Nokia 125 4G, the mechanism to open the back panel is easy. You don't really have to struggle, you don't really have to damage your fingernail for that, so it moves rather smoothly in that sense. Now the back panel itself really feels durable, and it is slightly textured, so you do get a better satisfaction on your hand. So dual SIM, this can accommodate 2 nano SIM, and this is where the micro SD card goes in. So the battery itself is a 1450 mAh battery, and this probably, with this 4G mode on, probably lasts at least 2 to 3 days of moderate use. And there we go, a very satisfactory snap all around. And this is how it is. So to boot up, we press this button here, and let's see. HMD, makers of Nokia phones. So these are things which are new, very good. And loudspeaker, you still have the Nokia branding and the Nokia tune upon booting up. So a dual SIM device. Now I do take note that this is meant for the Chinese specific market. So you're going to see certain apps like Himalaya and some Migu music, which is actually contents that can only be accessed if you're in China, and it would not be making its way to your devices. And we do have Alipay. I'm not really sure whether this will be making itself to India with the same branding or not, but definitely if it does, then you will see UPay option there. So this is how it looks like generally, the layout. And if you have seen my previous videos on S30 platform devices, you would be familiar with the layout as well as the functions of such devices. So let's just explore something here. So this is where the call is, and as you would have known from my previous videos, you can actually do a call recording option is available. So those devices with micro SD expansion actually allows you to record the call. So that is something that you might want to take note of. And the contacts are something that you can actually key in, or you can actually transfer them through your Android device through Bluetooth. And the type of information that you can actually add into the contacts are the pictures. You can also assign a specific ringtone for them and group them accordingly. So these are the options that you have with the contacts option. Now gallery is where the photos and the video show up. Now Himalaya, I can't really show it because it doesn't function there. Now text messaging is grouped based on the recipient, so you can actually send to a few people at a time, and it can be grouped according to the individual for you to communicate with them. So typing is made easy with the T9 input, and let's see, there we go. So what I can really say about the typing experience is it's super comfortable to type on this device. This is something that I feel they have improved on. The tactile feedbacks of the keypad. The keypad itself is backlit, so you can actually see them in a dark room. But the tactile feedback is something that has been improved, slightly raised, spaced apart, and it really feels like an extra cushion for the device. This is something that they have improved on compared to the previous generations of the device. So let's just move on from here. and camera. So the S30 Plus platform camera is actually quite robust. So if you've seen, you've got amazing effects, and this is some of it that you can. It's actually quite enjoyable because the same can be done for video recording as well, and this is something fun, something additional that you want to use, and it actually allows you to change certain parameters like the exposure value, contrast, brightness, as well as you will even have night mode. And with just a switch of a button, you can change it to the video recording option, and again you have the same effects. And not only that, if you want to record with flash, you can also do that by pressing this, and flash will be activated and you can record in the dark. So I think this is definitely a robust camera software, especially for a feature phone. Now, snake game, I think this is something all of us out there are quite familiar with, so I'm not going to go much into that. Now, radio, so this, as you can see, it's a wireless FM. So this is one of the good things that Nokia or HMD has improved on. You've got a wireless FM solution, and in case you are in a place where the reception is very poor, you can use the 3.5mm head jack for that. So I think I just share further on the settings of the device. Probably some of them are curious about the internal settings of the Nokia 125 4G. This is pretty much similar to the previous devices by HMD Global, but there is one new addition. I'm going to show that in a bit. So call setting is pretty straightforward. You do have a call forwarding option or an automatic redial if you want to, but I think a lot of people would want to know about the block list. So this is where you see the numbers that you have blocked. Messages is just to show you the internal settings for your text and MMS messages. Of course, you can also have wireless emergency alert message coming in. Backlight is where you actually control the brightness of the backlight. So notification, you can decide what you want to be shown on your device. And for those people who have difficulties in seeing smaller font size, you can probably increase the size here. Now, phone talker basically just reads whatever that is being shown on your device. So this is definitely handy for people who have difficulty seeing. So those with poor visual acuity would benefit from this. And of course, you do have options for online software updates. So I'm not going to go there. In terms of connectivity, this has Bluetooth. So Bluetooth, with the Bluetooth, you can actually connect it, pair it with your earbud. You can pair it with your speaker and enjoy the music on the go. Now you've got dual SIM options. You can choose which is your preferred SIM for calls and messages, and network type as well. It does no SIM card here, but you can actually choose between 4G, 3G and 2G if you want. And roaming option is there if you are planning to be traveling. Now this is where you set the ringtones, the volume, all the things, personalize how you want your device to be. And you do also have the option to change the background. You've got two wallpapers at this point of time, but something that you can use your own phone as well if you want. Themes basically just changes the color of your icon around. This ring here, you can see as it move around, so it changes the color accordingly. So these are some customization that you want. Now a lot of people have been asking about speed dialing, so you can actually assign the speed dial from all the way from number 2 to number 9. So for your parents or for the younger audience out there, they'll find it useful. Time and language is where you set the phone language, but this is limited to English or some Chinese option. Now I think something new with the HMD's newer devices are parental controls. So in case this device is meant for children, you can actually sort of lock certain functions that you don't want. So the functions that you can lock are browser, camera, and sharing means through Bluetooth and things like that. So you can actually block all this if you don't want your child to have that access. Now you do have power saving mode, which will basically reduce the brightness, and then you can even reduce from 4G, switch off your 4G network, and you can decide where you want to, when you want it to kick on the power saving mode automatically. And storage is where if you have an additional micro SD card, you can choose where things are to be saved. And this is the profiles. I think these are something very, very familiar with that, so I'm not going to go in depth with this. If you want to know each in detail, I suggest you watch a couple of my previous videos on Nokia feature phones where I do go in detail on each of them. Now, one thing I think a lot of people will be asking is definitely the shortcuts. So you can easily access for the profile by long pressing it between silent, and then you do have vibration, and you do have the general mode there. Now, one thing that I noticed is that it's not just the keypad here has been enhanced in terms of its softness. Even the vibration motor here is really nice. It's smooth, it's not rough at all. So I think these are some minor upgrades that HMD has tuned in for the newer devices. Now the button 0, if you're familiar with previous Nokia devices, allows you to, let me just unlock my device, press 0 and you can launch in the browser. So I think for the outside of the Chinese market, it's probably an Opera browser, but this is somewhat of a customized browser. And press hold the star would give you access to the dual SIM option. You can easily select which SIM to use for calls or messages, things like that, or with just a click of the button. Now, button number 1 is actually for I think this is for voice memo. If you have some voice messages saved, this is how you access and you set on that. So go up and you can open the last activated app. Go to your left, you can go to your volume as well and switch off. Go to your right, you have calendar. Now this is an offline calendar. You can save tons of messages, tons of input here for each date, but it won't sync with your other devices if that is what you want to know. And you go down and you can go to the contacts option. Now the other way to access shortcuts is through the left button here. This gives you access to the power saving mode directly, settings, alarm, torch, radio, snake, calendar, all by this button itself. Now I think pretty much this is the brief review on the Nokia 125 4G. I think this is definitely something that you might want to get in case you don't have one with a USB Type-C cable. And this is, I would say, it does have some minor upgrades, like I said, in terms of the softness of the keypad. It really feels good, really feels really soft at the same time. It is durable, and of course the vibration motor here, I think it's definitely one of the best I've felt for a feature phone. And other than that, I think the color looks good, and USB-C type charging is a good upgrade indeed. So this is a quick look into the Nokia 125 4G. If you want to know the details, like I've mentioned earlier, a couple of videos before would show you some of the feature phones that I've reviewed in detail. So it's going to be just the same because it runs on the same platform. But the new feature phones from HMD Global has this parental lock option, so that's something that you want to take note of. So that's all. Till then, stay safe, and I hope to see you in the next one.